How's everybody doing today? I guess it's tonight. Happy hump day is over. I just saw this earlier, so thought I was going to talk about the big acquisition. Thumbnail looks pretty good for me. So, you know how we do it. If you have any cybersecurity questions, what's up before the billions in the house? Congratulations on your promotion. Um, Let's see. Let me get my stuff together. I'm struggling today. Happy hump day. Let's see. Before the beans in the chat. Once again, if you got any cybersecurity questions, I did a stream on a data lakes from AWS from a data scientist, data engineering perspective. So we probably go over there one day and chop it up about that. I'm do a live for AWS. Did you hear about the NVIDIA? I did hear about that. I was thinking about doing a video on that, man. Everybody's getting hacked, Kalai. Everybody's getting hacked. Yeah, I saw that. He did. He did. I shot him something on LinkedIn. Let me see if he ever respond. He been humping lately. Gabe's been humping. I shot him something on LinkedIn. But yeah, Gabe actually used to work for Mandiant. I think they're one of. I think in the United States they're probably the top company. Like I said, I'm going to peek and see if we responded to my LinkedIn or not. Like I said, I know Gabe is humping. He's busy. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. My stuff is moving slow, so you're just gonna read a couple articles and just chop it up about it. I like the Hill because they talk about it more from make that a little bigger from a legal perspective. Let's see. It says everybody. Phone included the die design. I know for the GPU, that's so we were talking about that. So I guess if you their competitors, can you use that design? So for from the NVIDIA chip, because they got some. Because realistically, that's what all the digital people use to mine their coins for crypto. The crypto people really loves that. So that's gonna be interesting. But the government always tell you don't pay them. So from Bitcoin, cryptocurrency standpoint, from ransomware, if the team say they don't have any structure in the interview, is that a red flag? No, I don't think that's red flag. It's more for you to shine. Check out that video, Data Lakes. I did a live on there. That'll help you get structure. Are they in the cloud B2B? Let me know if you can't give out too much. They're in the cloud. AWS actually gave a baseline infrastructure for that. So even if they're not in the cloud, I would use AWS blueprint infrastructure to start out to build a good structure, because they were doing stuff with crawlers and stuff that was unique from a data lake perspective. Peace to the chat. What's up, CKE? But we might go online and talk about it on your channel or mine, B2B, if you can, and just kind of walk through that, what that will look like. So here's the article. We about to just start going through it. $5.4 billion, man. That's a lot of money, man. I let you know Google be printing money. So I think they're trying to catch up with the cloud perspective, because Microsoft made I appreciate that, CKC. Peace. So you look at that. If you got time, I did an AWS data lake cloud. Look at that B2B, then we'll go on your channel and chop it up about it if you want. Think about the attack vector discovering the moon out. They would come. He reported the search keys have been created already. I know, man. It's crazy. the attack vectors, because I work for a large state agency, we've been struggling. So facts about that. So um, just real quick before I get started is I did a video a long time ago. Microsoft is one of the top security people on the planet. So, of course, they control Azure. They made $10 billion in security 2 years ago. Their security team was, I think, made $10 billion. It was something crazy like that. So I think people don't realize how big Microsoft and AWS, man, I do a lot of work with them. They got a ton of security people, so I think Google would acquire Mandiant to catch up with those other two as far as security. I mean, you don't hear about AWS, outsourcing and consulting because their business is so big. They need a whole consulting company internal to help their customers with their security. Because, like I said, a lot of our vendors do AWS, and so I'll be sending them questions. They send them to AWS, and AWS be snapping questions back like super quick. So I think Google did that to get in line with Azure and AWS. If you're trying to be the third best, you got to get your security team up. What's up, Ty? But I guess it's not a big hefty 5.4 billion to Google. I guess I need to Google how much they make. I know they print money, so I mean that's not a big acquisition for those guys. It says Google plans to acquire Mandiant, the cybersecurity firm that uncovered the SolarWinds hack, for $5.4 billion. The tech giant saying Mandiant would join the Google Cloud business following the close of the acquisition. Bloomberg reported Microsoft reportedly also been interested in Mandiant, but the company pulled out of talks more than a week ago. To let you know, all the cloud vendors are beefing up their security. Why? Because, like he said, everybody's getting hacked. Keys are out, attack vectors. We we do vulnerability scans so often, and the CVEs that come out are the vulnerabilities that people find, research company finds, or at an astronomical rate, man. We just do that all day almost, man. Organizations around the world are facing unprecedented cybersecurity challenges as the sophistication and severity of attacks that were previously used to target major governments are now being used to target companies in every industry. Thomas Curran, CEO of Google's Cloud. We look forward to welcoming Mandiant to Google Cloud to further enhance security operations, suit advisory service, and help customers address these most important security challenges, right? Because when, especially government, that Jedi bid is getting split up, it was $10 billion. So the government's really saying, okay, if you're in this cloud, what is your security expertise, right? We get nation states. I mean, I think I've done 4 videos now on Ukraine, Russia. What kind of wiper attacks? Is Elon Musk too powerful? That because that's really probably the first truly cyber war. That's people are picking sides. Nation states are openly saying we're going to attack your cyber. Anonymous is a hacktivist organization. They're teaming up. I'm sure the United States is doing stuff undercover behind the scenes. I'm sure Israel's helping us. I'm sure China's just came out with a couple things, so they're helping Russia. So this is probably the first open, I guess you want to say, kickoff to a cyber war, right, to get it really going. Mandiant CEO Kevin Mendez said the company is thrilled to be joining forces with the Google Cloud. I'm sure at $5.4 billion, he got a big check. Together, they would deliver expertise, intelligence at scale, changing the security industry. Mandiant rose to prominence after uncovering the SolarWinds hack in 2020. The cyber attack was one of the largest in U.S. history, compromised computers across federal government. But like I said, I knew that before. What's up, Game Over? Before the SolarWinds hack, once I knew Gabe, worked there. So Mandiant's been, one of the top companies forever. So let's pick up the Wall Street Journal and kind of chop it up a little bit about that, because they talked about it too from a money perspective and a fit perspective. I think it's a pretty good fit. Number one, Google's always out on the research end of new skills, new techniques, new attack vectors. And they spend a ton of money. I mean, they bought Boston Robotics, but they spun it off. But they are on the cutting edges of a lot of things. So it'll be interesting to see from a research perspective. And Google has their 0 day things that they find from necessity. So let's see what the big Wall Street. Well, they blocked it. I got to pay for it. Oh no, they let me see it. Okay, Google. I mean Wall Street. I owe y'all some money. So let's Google to buy cybersecurity firm Mandiant for $5.4 billion with a big B. Cybersecurity investments has been hot among tech companies as they beef up those services for customers amid the surge in cyber attack. Google said once again it reached the deal. Nearly 5.4 billion, bolster the cloud unit security. The other thing too is if you're an investor, this is not advice. Is all the other security companies now are in play, right? Because if Microsoft was trying to buy Mandiant, they didn't get Mandiant, so they got a ton of money ready to spend on some company that they think is going, help them up their cybersecurity game. Once again, I was surprised how much money they made that one year. Hey, when they try to buy, yeah, me too. They let me in. See, they let me in. So let's see. Boost their cloud business, but remain smaller than their key rivals. We were just talking about that. Thomas Curran, chief executive, said Google wanted to drive from the inside of Mandiant threat research and how it applies security solutions to products, and the company's giant intended to retain the Mandiant brand. Mandiant was a pioneer in cybersecurity industry, publishing detailed report about malicious cyber campaigns, identifying likely nation-state sponsors of intrusion. United States intelligence agencies have come to rely on insight provided by Mandiant and other companies that shed light into the motives, tactics of hackers in Russia, China, Iran, and elsewhere. That's Kevin Mandiant, the chief executive of Mandiant. The company once again pioneered that. Has drawn Google as a buyer because of the desire to better automate cybersecurity and the need to better secure cloud environments from hackers. So the key part of that is automate security, right? How do we get better? What's up, Sparks? How do we get better at automating stuff, right? Because we're 500,000 cybersecurity people short. So how do you threat intelligence? One of AWS things looks for threat actors inside your VPC, and once it does certain attacks, there's call it attack pattern. If you look at MITRE, that's one of the red team offensive attack. They have patterns for probably hundreds of attacks from China, Israel, us. So they could tell you how you move inside of a network, who's actually doing it, right? So I think they're gonna try to automate a lot of that, right? Don't look at this as selling his company. It looks at moving the mission forward. He was an Air Force veteran. Mandiant was founded in 2004, years before nation state of hacks had become regular front page. Mandiant published a groundbreaking report detailing China's espionage campaign. Months later, it was acquired by a security company, FireEye Inc., which spun out Mandiant as a business, right? So FireEye Inc. has some of the best malware, virus protection, intelligence, wiperware, all that stuff. FireEye is one of the leading companies in that area, right? Mandiant is often called by corporations after they discover they've been hacked. The type of activity from criminal ransomware groups, nation-state hackers, increasingly based in the cloud. With the deal, Mandiant would gain widespread visibility in one of the world's largest cloud environments. I would argue now that Google's now the most powerful company in the world when it comes to security. David Wood, former executive Mandiant, said when it was known as Fire. The flip side is this is one of the biggest culture clashes I've ever seen in an acquisition. Right. So those two together, they're big companies. They're both pioneers in technology, really both pioneers in a lot of security things. But like you said, Mandiant is corporate government button down how we do business. Google's kind of like, hey, we researching, we college people, we just kind of do what we want to do, right? So, like you said, from a culture class, how are you going to do it? I think they're just going to keep Mandiant as a separate company, make it a separate division, right? And they're kind of crossover in stages. So I don't think that cross culture is going to be a big issue. Now, security investor, do I compare Mandiant to defense contractors, like I said, with deep ties to the United States government, employees with National Security Intelligence Committee. You put that inside a company that tries to sell products, and it gets to be an interesting tension. The acquisition would also test the degree in which Google can use Mandiant's consulting service to sell automated cyber tools tailored for cloud only. Right. So I think that's going to be one of the synergies. Can Google make those for government use, and can Mandiant push those out, to their customers? So the deal will put Google in a more direct competition with Microsoft Corporation, which operates its own security incident response business, which operates its own security. It's considered analysts to be a much more mature strategy cloud provider as a seller of security products. Now, this is interesting right here. This is what I was talking about. Microsoft has pegged annual revenue for its security business at $15 billion, right? So that's on another level. Is Gabe in the box? For some reason, I can't see him when he comes in as Gabe. I might have to reach out to Restream IO. They blocking Gabe. So shout out to Gabe who's in the box. Shout out to CKC. Here, I'll drop the link if anybody wants to come up. If Gabe's in the box, if he wants to come up, if B2B, whoever wants to come up, it's all cool. So once again, the security, I was surprised. Like I said, I think I did this a year and a half ago. I think they made 10 million. So it looks like they went up 50%. Yeah, I'll use. Yeah, I can see you come up. I was surprised. Once again, Microsoft has pegged annual revenue for its security business at $15 billion. I'm just amazed that Microsoft is make. I mean, we're not even talking about the rest of their portfolio. We just talking about security at $15 billion. I just never put Microsoft, I guess, at that level of security till I did some research. I just always think about them, in the 80s, Bill Gates, like the Darth Vader, and Azure, of course, is a great asset for them. But I just never thought of them making $15 billion a year in security from Microsoft. So I think that's one reason Google wanted to get Mandiant, because they need to get their security revenue up there. Once again, I think AWS, they make a ton too, but it's just built inside of their customers buying their security services to use in their cloud. So I think once again, Google was trying to fill a hole with that at that 5.4 billion. I'm sure Gabe Hayes, I'm sure he got some stock options, man. He get liquid and cash out others, man.
No, man. I sold all of my Mandiant stock. Yeah, it's been gone.
Before they got bought out. What's going on?
Not too much, man. Not too much. Just chilling. But I was watching the news and everything, and I reaching out to some of my former coworkers. They're now Google employees, so it should be interesting, man. It should be interesting. I don't know how much you covered so far, but go ahead.
I just kind of read about a little bit. One guy, I think he said that culture fit's gonna be super odd when you try to put them together.
It's different because for a lot of the consultants, and at least it's not a big cloud presence within Mandiant's offerings, even from a consulting perspective. So Mandiant is primarily known for its incident response and its threat intelligence. Those are Mandiant's biggest selling points, because that's really what they make the most money off of: the incident response engagements, the retainers, the retainer services, tabletop exercises, and then a lot of that funnels into those red team or proactive services. So I'm really trying to understand the play here. because it's not a lot of cloud involved. And I mean, we didn't use almost any cloud services when we're going out and doing consulting. So I don't know, man. We'll see.
Yeah, because they were talking about maybe taking some of your techniques and maybe automating them a little more to make them a little cleaner. That's what they said. And then maybe bundle them as a
Mhm.
product. I'm like, I'm like, I hope Gabe comes up because I don't think that's what they usually do.
No, no, it's very what they call like white glove type of services. So it's like you are literally face to face with the customer. You're getting very tailored, like you're understanding their pain points, and we're developing tailored solutions to their security issues. That's at least that was the perspective when I was there at Mandiant. But that culture is very different too, right? It's kind of like old school cybersecurity, right?
Oh,
So
that's what I
with
just
like
said.
Kevin Mandiant, right? So
Yeah.
like Kevin Mandiant, right? Best known for APT1, Advanced Persistent Threat One,
Mhm.
which showed that China was getting
Yeah.
into organizations in the U.S. Right?
I just
They
read
had
that. Yeah.
presence.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Right? That's what I say. I don't know how much you already
No, no, that's perfect.
covered,
You
but it's
validate what
very
I just said. So yeah,
but
Wall
it's
Street article just was talking about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's very much so old school. But Google is very innovative. It takes, like you said, like it bundles things together, it automates it, and it doesn't have so much of that human touch to a lot of their services.
Yeah.
I don't really know of too much. I didn't know Google was very well known for their consulting services, mainly like their product support, but I don't
But
know.
what I was thinking is
Hmm.
Amazon does that, but they have so many customers that are big. I think they
Right.
got a mania style company. They just help their customers internal because you get a lot of services for
Yes.
free when you buy their, their enterprise support is super expensive
Oh
and their
yeah.
business. So I don't know if you think maybe Google's trying to do that.
I
Get
don't
from
even
a
know,
from a
man.
security. Yeah, I'm reaching for that. I go like
I
I'm
don't know. So
reaching.
Amazon consulting is very different too because they have a lot of like brick and mortar or like
Oh, fact.
warehouses. So they have those internal projects and
Hmm.
programs that their consultants work on. So sometimes it's their consultants stay completely inside of the Amazon ecosystem rather than
Right.
being more customer facing for
Fact.
external customers. So I don't know. And I know Google is involved in a lot of that, right? They got data centers everywhere, they got customers
Hmm.
everywhere, but
I just
whew,
never put them on that government level. I always put them
no.
down one. So I don't know if I'm underestimating because when I think of that, I usually just think of Amazon and Azure. Then everybody
Yeah.
else kind of getting the crumbs. So
And that's the thing, like so at Mandiant, we really didn't have a whole bunch of federal customers or government customers, right? It
mhm.
was some, but like we would I don't know. There is a division that did that, but it wasn't as widespread as the commercial organizations that we consulted for while I was there. So I don't know. Kevin Mandy is a very rich man. I know that.
Oh man,
I know
I
that
don't
for
even know
sure.
why he's still working, man. I'd have shut it on down, man. I'd
Man.
have been on the other side of the world somewhere, man, in
I
Bali or something.
mean, he's passionate. I've seen him
Oh,
in
he is.
person. Like
That's his
he's
baby.
super passionate about
He is.
just
He is.
security in general. So he
He is.
even tries to get in the labs, get in the SOC, and try to see what's actually happening. Like hands on keyboard, he tries to do some of that stuff still. But
Okay, that's
it's
cool.
interesting. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like,
but
dude, you get in the way, man. Just go back up to the season. This one right here surprised me till I found
what's
it a
that?
year ago. Microsoft was paid to make annual revenue this year of $15 billion just in security.
Well, that's the thing. So have you heard of so Microsoft is very well known for their DART organization. So I think
I
it's like
did because
defense
when
something. Hmm.
Col- Col- Colonel Pipeline got hit, it was I think it was Mandy and FireEye and them were leading the pack.
Yeah, first it was
They were
Mandy and
kind of doing like
Absolute.
stuff in Duo, and I was surprised. I'm like,
Yeah.
Microsoft's in there.
Yeah. So like they were more of like some of that after stuff, but
Hmm.
we were the primary people for
Oh yeah,
Colonial
yeah,
Pipeline.
definitely. But I
Yeah,
just
but
would never
mhm.
think Microsoft would be in there at all. I was surprised. Then I read, I think it was a year and a half ago, they made $10 billion just in
Listen,
security. Now they up to 15. I'm like, oh
it
my
was
god.
very well known. So like one of our top executives had actually went from when I was at Mandy, he left Mandy and went over to Microsoft. A lot of people that was something that was very common people go from Mandiant to Microsoft, right, for that larger organization field. So yeah, their DART team, and it stands for Microsoft Detection and Response Team. That is that's that moneymaker there. That's really their moneymaker.
I just didn't know it was 10 billion moneymaker. Because when you go out there, their blogs are pretty good. I always look.
Oh yeah, they're
out
great.
There and put some stuff and do a couple of videos off their blogs. Their security blogs are excellent.
See, what's also interesting about Microsoft stuff is that they're most common within enterprise environments. So it makes sense that they will be most common in addressing the times in which they're hacked. So it's a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And two is the good thing I like about Microsoft and they're good is they put it all under one umbrella, so you got one neck to choke. Then if they want to bring, like you said, somebody else in, they'll bring them in and manage you for you.
Oh yeah.
So you know, and their support is not cheap in Azure, man.
No, not at all.
So let me read these last couple of paragraphs. Mr. Manning said he didn't anticipate an acquisition by Google will result in any business complication that would stifle the threat research that his company has built his brand on. He and Mr. Curran declined to comment on whether the acquisition will lead to layoffs. Cybersecurity investment has been a hot among tech companies as they try to offer those services to customers. Microsoft has reported and also expressed interest in it taking over Mandiant last month. So I guess they were trying to buy them too.
It's So that was so when I was there some years ago. Well, I was there last year, but probably like 2019 when I was there were rumbles about Microsoft wanting to acquire Mandiant. So that was a big conversation happening. So maybe that might be another thing, right? Google might have acquired Mandiant, so Microsoft will acquire. That might be another play, because I don't know if you heard or as you seen that Google is kind of known for killing companies. I think there's a website for Google killed companies or something. So yeah, it's a whole website called Killed by Google. Here, I'm gonna throw it in the chat for people to be able to see it.
I'm a big Oracle fan, and Oracle kills companies too. Or they buy like 3 web servers and they kind of meld them together. Then the other ones they just drop off. So
it's kind of bad. It's like it's so crazy because it shows like the companies and it has like a tombstone next to them. It's like when the company started, and then like what the company is now. I just threw it in the chat for people to see, but. I don't know if that's one of these, but we'll see, man.
But you wouldn't think you would spend $5.4 billion to kill it, man. That's a big number to be killing.
I mean, if it's to make your competitor weaker, or it's to just take the talent off the table, I don't know. Or kind of get some of that brand recognition too. Right. So Manning is, just like you said, it's well known for incident response. They're like, well, let's try to build up that business by getting the biggest boy. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in those boardrooms.
No, I'm with you. I'm far from the board. Now I feel you, Tyrese. I didn't know Microsoft acquired Risk IQ. Microsoft and those big companies, man, they buy so many companies. It's unbelievable when you dig in and see how many companies. I did a little work in Silicon Valley 10 years ago. There was millionaires walking around that you never heard of because their company just got bought out for $2 or $3 million. They wanted some feature or function, and they just bought it and integrated it. People be selling.
Yep. And that's what a lot of people do, right? They bring in these startups, they start up a company, they get a market share, they get a good product or a good service, and then they sell. And then they live the rest of their lives doing whatever they want to do. So
that ain't a bad thing. Maybe we need to get an incubator together.
Listen, hey.
So let me read a little bit of the now I'm going to the business what CNBC talking about it. 54 billion, we know that. Port also said acquisition proposal address customers standout requests for more automation and more sophisticated security analysis. Like you said, I just never think of Mandiant being super automated. So everybody keeps saying automation. I just never think of them. When I think of Mandiant, I don't think of them as automation. Chime in on that.
We actually, like when I was there, we actually got our stock was not going up because we weren't very innovative in our cloud or in our automation. We were very kind of static, right? We were putting out the blogs, we were doing the IR, like I was saying before, old school cybersecurity stuff. That's what we were very well known for. So I don't know. Maybe they did some stuff recently. Maybe they brought on some new people as a couple of months ago. I don't know why they change some things up.
Maybe, like you said, maybe that's the cross synergy they want you to. Like they're gonna try to get to drive up the price with the automation.
Maybe,
you know, but
I don't know, man.
Like you said, that's just kind of weird.
Like I'm not hating because I ain't there no more, but I don't see the. I do see a. It probably would be better if they were with Microsoft. Like Microsoft seems closer to kind of that, like at least even the brand and the type of work that they do. Because like I said, a lot of people would go for Mandiant right over to Microsoft.
Yeah, for me, I do a lot of federal work, and Azure's got their federal cloud. So like you said, that works perfectly with Mandiant because that's old school. We're doing RFP. It's that government old school work. So like you said, that would be perfect.
Kind of legacy system. Like a lot of those old school people who were doing incident response back when incident response was started. Right. They've written publications and they still work in Mandiant. Like you got those sages that are still there. So that Microsoft fit sounds a lot better than a Google, but we'll see, man. I don't know.
I'm interviewing this brother that used to work at Google, and we were going back and forth because he used to work for Oracle, and Google's so innovative that they really were flunking federal compliance when we were doing it because they thought it was so old school. Because we talk about the sticks and they are kind of old, but like I told them, this is a DoD contract, man. Y'all got to do them. So I'm arguing with these guys. I'm like, I understand it's old, but we got to check these boxes. Where Microsoft, I go over to Microsoft Azure, they're like, oh, we got this, we got we got the stick. Linux already set up for you. You hit the box. We got all the paperwork. We got the compliance scanner for you, because they know about that old federal work.
Yeah. I'm trying to see the fit too, man. But
I was arguing with the kids because they were just so innovative with the PhD. I'm like, that's cool, but you can't pass this check, man.
Yeah. That's the thing. In the digital ecosystem today, there is still a lot of legacy systems that still need to be managed, that still need to be secured. Like you can't just innovate yourself out of being able to manage those systems and secure those systems.
Yeah, because they gave me their beautiful zero trust document. It was one of the first cloud vendors that implemented the zero trust.
They love it.
But I'm like, dude, you missing like 10 things I need, man. I don't know what to say. It was just a weird conversation.
I'm working with a federal customer right now that's doing a zero trust thing, and they're having some issues, right? Because they still got a lot of that legacy environment. So they're trying to use us to kind of translate a lot of that. But I'm right there with you.
Yeah, because I was doing my smaller customers, it was easy because to stop east and west traffic, it's like, okay, I got 10 VMs, just cut on a Windows firewall, and you can just block everything on that subnet. But when you got 400 VMs, you can't manage 400 separate little firewalls. You got to do it in Cisco or VMware. You got to do something that's a little more enterprise, so you can automate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm right there with you. Things can only be so automated with this again. I tell you who's, and I've been doing a few videos, AWS got a lot of stuff automated in their stuff. They building inside their compliance stuff, and they got these things called config packages, and they got a lot of that stuff just automated because when you set it up, your networking needs to be doing this, and if you use their services, it should be set up. They got a lot of that stuff automated straight out the box.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I've been kind of going over some of that, but you're right there. The problem is we got to automate some because we 500,000 security people on short. Then I'm gonna let Gabe chime in on this. You got to automate it because we be getting a petabyte of logs. You can't look at that manually. So if you're trying to figure out a MITRE attack, you gotta automate that because we be throwing about 10 billion lines of logs every day. You can't look through that.
I mean, I'm doing an incident response engagement right now. I got some customers that got hit, and I mean, you're pulling information off of their systems, just like you mentioned, like logs, right?
Yeah.
A human can't go through all of those logs and lines and lines. I mean, even just like a Cisco core switch configuration. Yeah. I mean, it's just like you have to throw it into some type of tool that'll help you with that analysis. Right. So yeah, you need to automate certain processes in order for those analysts to be effective. But it does come a point where you still need to know what you're looking at, right? It still needs to be because humans are hacking these systems, right? So that human definitely needs to also be within the mix. But yeah.
But I think especially if you go to MITRE and one of the big tech, they got that pattern match of how people attack a system. So I think you start off with that. But then like you said, humans are coming up with new things every day.
So look, right? They are using TTPs from previously known attacks, right? Techniques and procedures. When something new comes up, then it's just not included. It's just like antivirus, right? You got all the signatures from previously seen and previously witnessed hacks, but it's not from newer things. So things, just like you mentioned, things are new.
Yeah, but a lot of times too, though, y'all got your artificial intelligence trying to help figure it out. It kind of look like this. So should we quarantine it? So then you start breaking real apps. But go ahead.
Man, you got to train those systems, though, right? You have to be able to get some type of baseline before any type of machine learning and artificial intelligence becomes effective. Where you get these legacy systems, I mean, you can put an agent on some things, but it might not be able to really track a lot of what's happening. So you got to, a lot of times you can't go from the host level where the attack happens. You have to go from a network level. You have to look at what that network traffic. Man, I can go on and on. Never mind. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. Go give him another 2 minutes, man. I thought the audience, man, because I know what it is. I just don't think a lot of people heard of. So go give him the 2-minute version of that, man. Let
me just boil it down. So
boil it down to him, man.
The attack happens typically on the host. So think of it as like an example is like a phishing email, right? A person clicks on a link and all of a sudden the malware gets on a laptop, a desktop machine, or a server or something, right? So that's where the attack happens. But a lot of times within these federal government environments, industrial environments, you got old systems like Windows XP, you got Windows Server 2008 R2. So the attack happens there, but the systems, the newer stuff, right, the Google stuff, the artificial intelligence and machine learning, they don't align with those operating systems, those older operating systems. So you have to go to like the network level, right? The conversations that's happening between the machines, between the servers, between the workstations, between the switches, in order to do a lot of that security analysis to try to find out what bad or what evil is happening in the environment. So I just say that and I'll leave it there.
No, that's good. Maybe we do another one and dig into it. Because like you said, you need that network in the middle because too is a lot of times is you got 400 VMs, man. You can't be pulling servers off for every VM. You need, like you said, you need to do it from a network perspective because, like you said, they go into the Active Directory and they doing a golden SAML attack, or they start doing SAML queries. You can say, okay, that looks funny. I need to quarantine that.
Yes.
Like you said, if you're trying to look at each individual VM or server, you ain't gonna never make it, man.
Nope. You gotta look for stuff like PowerShell execution. You gotta look at, hey, are these devices in this VLAN talking to these other devices in this VLAN? Does that look normal, right? So that goes into your network segmentation strategy. So you can get into, man, it's a lot of levels to it, but also Azure, right? Azure does a lot of that, right? Azure automates a lot of that type of those type of processes. So it's changing, but a lot of the game is you still have to have an understanding of the systems. You're never gonna take the person out of the equation.
No. That's why I tell people, and we talk about. That's why you need fundamentals, man. You need to get you some VM skills, some Linux skills, some Unix skills, some architecting skills, right? Because when you do those attacks or try to block those attacks, you got to understand the underlying technology at least a base level. You know, when you talk about networking and amplifying and Smurf
Absolutely.
attacks, and you know, most of that you can do on prem. You can do those same type of attacks in the cloud, and it's worse because it's more networking to amplify itself up there.
Yes.
Depending
I'm
on
up here installing.
where you hit.
I'm up here labbing up tonight. I'm up here installing a fresh instance of Security Onion because I'm gonna do some analysis on some stuff I found for some malicious traffic. So you know you got to stay fresh no matter where you at in your career. So you know, for the people that's listening, man, you got to keep on labbing.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people, man, and I did a video on that. Sometimes ageism is because your skills are not up to date, right? So at 53, I'm up in AWS. I'm doing AWS videos because the cloud is the next bag, and I'm late. People been in the cloud for 10 years, 12 years. I'm late. So I'm trying to take my security skills up to there. So I got to understand all those services, those technologies. Now they got DevOps, continuous integration, continuous development. You know, they added some new stuff to it, right? So you got to understand all that at some level from the application security standpoint. So.
Yep. Absolutely.
Let me read these couple paragraphs real quick from CNBC. Alphabet, whose other name is Google, hopes to the acquisition of cybersecurity company Mandiant will help it service idiosyncratic needs for customers in different industries. Alphabet financial chief Ruth Progler said Morgan Stanley Technology Media and Teleconference. So the idiosyncratic of different customers. Google parent company Alphabet announced once again it's buying it for $5.4 billion, which makes it the second largest acquisition in company history. Progler gave it a bit more insight into where it falls with the search giant investment in its rapidly growing cloud. So I guess that was the peak in 2013, and they had a little blip, and they up to $21.74.
Man, that ain't. So a part of the compensation for consultants at Mandiant, you get equity. So you get equity at certain levels. Man, I was selling every single time I vested. Because
come on, you was selling
it kept going down. It kept going down.
Facts. No, I feel you.
It was going down every single time, man. So I waited after like my first vesting period. So after your first year, you get 25% of everything, right? So I think I got a nice little bonus. So I think I came in at least with equity, I had $100K equity, right? So after my first year, I got a nice bonus of $25K, right?
Wow.
And then so but then after that, it kept going down and down. So after I'm looking at that $25K get chipped every single quarter, I'm like, oh no, I'm selling this right now. Let me get my money.
Come on, man. I pay the long game now.
No, man, that's my cash, man. That goes into my total compensation. But yeah.
Facts. But pay attention to what Gabe said a lot of times. People say, oh, you're going to make all this money on equity. Sometimes it goes down in real life. I actually was a programmer at a large insurance company, and I got stock options because I made it up to project management. The company bought a company like this was too big. It went under, and all my stuff was not vested, and it was all underwater. So it's got to be at a certain dollar amount for you to sell it and make money and vest it. And I ate all of that.
Also happened to? That also happened to Meta recently, right? When Meta took that large plunge, people were freshening up their resumes and getting out of there.
Right.
For big tech companies, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, like you said, you can have $1 million, but if it ain't at a certain strike price, it's not worth it. You can't sell it. Go ahead and finish.
Absolutely. No, I was going to say, because with big tech companies, your base salary and your bonus is not the primary amount of what you're totally compensated. It's your equity is where you really get it. So a lot of those big tech people, they might have, and it's good money, right? They might have a base of like 130 to 160 or something, right? But then they'll have like equity in the amounts of 200K or something, and it just throw them over. But if that organization is not doing well, their total compensation goes down. So you really gotta look at that.
Yeah, but you gotta think. At least they got a base compensation. some of the startups and the IPOs, they all stuff be on stock because they think they're gonna make it to the IPO and get the big cash
Promises.
out.
Yeah, they be
And
getting paid on promises. That's what we
praise
call
on
that.
promises, man. Hopium, you be getting paid on hopium,
Paying
but
on hope. But the thing about it, man, is that sometimes they strike big, and
oh,
sometimes they
fast,
don't.
fast,
But the bad
fast.
thing about some of those big tech bases, right, is that right? We might think in like the Midwest or the East parts of the East Coast that like 130 and 150 is good. But the thing about it is that it ain't nothing for California.
Oh,
It ain't
facts.
nothing for New York. It ain't nothing
I
for
know.
DC. So
I
you really
was in
gotta look
San
at that.
Francisco just crying. One dude said he was excited, but this is about 15 years ago. He had an
Yeah.
apartment, 2 bedroom. It was $4,000 a month. I was like, dude, you crazy. I could
Wow.
get 20 acres with the horse. Like, you crazy,
Sheesh.
man.
Easily.
But that's what you're saying in those bigger cities, man.
Yeah.
I keep getting invited to DC in that area because I do federal work, but I'm like, dude, I ain't trying to pay those house prices, and I'm
They're
not trying to
expensive.
jump on no subway either. I ain't never been on no
DC, New
subway,
York.
so
Yeah, no,
yeah,
no, no. DC, New York, California, even Seattle is kind of up there too because of
yeah.
Microsoft.
Yeah,
So,
Microsoft can grow the price. Let me read a couple of these
yeah.
chats in here. Yep, the cloud's a big bag. That's crazy. I just had a alum who was working at Mandiant come to my classroom saying they were looking to get bought out, but didn't know it would be Google.
Yeah, man.
So
It's been
yeah,
mumbles for years, man. It's been mumbles for years. Even when I was there a couple of years, well, last year before I left.
I came over. There's room for you in here, man. Come on and get this cybersecurity bag. We in here.
Absolutely.
Let's game.
Yeah, that's what I
Shout
did,
out.
man. Took them gains.
Get facts, get the game. Salute to blind guy, his wife, and they're like, go check their channel out. They got me eating salad. Professor Black Ops trying to make a comeback in 2022, eating a little
Let's
better.
go.
So we trying. Okay, chop down to 200K.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Cali, 100K is pouring the Bay out here. Oh, Tyree said he's in the Bay. Yeah, I'll be
I'm
messing with
telling you.
that Bay life.
Yeah,
I'll be
man.
messing with that Bay life, man. I'm from Indiana. I'm from the Midwest, man.
Man, I
100K, you
just
balling
man,
out.
I just moved back to Detroit, man. Man, we good here, man.
Man,
Midwest
you
all
might
day.
buy a block up, man, if you want to. You can buy the
Yeah, I got a
block.
little bit. Yeah, yeah. I started buying real estate in Detroit back in 2013. So
That's
I got it
cool.
up a little bit. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I got a few little rentals. One of them's killing me though. I was trying to do an Airbnb right before the pandemic. That's
Really?
not going well.
That
we
Airbnb, man. That's a whole nother game. I don't
I
know.
just tried it, man, because I'm trying to get in apartment buildings later on.
Yeah,
Me and Black
same.
Heights probably do a video on that. So I've been looking
Oh,
at them.
dope.
But long story short, though, is all the people from Cali came to Indiana, start buying stuff sight unseen, and they driving the prices up to
That's what
unforeseen
man. That's what
things.
they doing, man. They buying stuff
Yeah,
cash. They say cash.
cash.
That's it.
But the crazy thing, I met this realtor. He said, "Man, he let me buy it." He said, "If it look good, just buy it." I'm like, "Come
Yeah.
on, man."
If it look
Y'all heard?
that was one of my strategies in Detroit. I was like, man, if I know the area, if I know what's coming up, I was like, I'm just gonna buy it. So I got up to 7 rental properties now. So I'm just
That's
rolling.
cool.
I'm just
Nah,
trying
I
to get
feel
to
you.
it.
I think I
Yeah.
got 4. One of
Mm-hmm.
my son, and he ain't paying no rent. I gotta yell at him, man. Make
Get
sure
them
you
out
have
of there. Get them out.
better kids than me, man.
Man, I don't rent to family have tried, but I don't rent to no family, man. I don't know. I think I feel bad throwing my family out. That's
Oh,
because
I
I do
have.
it. Because I do it.
Yeah, nah, yeah. Cause too, the
Yeah.
grandkids be hugging me. I'm like, I can't throw him out. If he's by
Yeah.
himself, the grandkids be like,
Get them on out
it's
of there. No,
it's all good, man. I
yeah.
feel you though. Yeah. I'm trying to get some remote work because my contract's up in June, so I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
out what my next move gonna be. I'm actually cool
Mm-hmm.
with this lady from Microsoft. I might call her up. I was helping them
Mm-hmm.
do some fair work, and their federal people was horrible.
Man, take a look at AFS, Essential Federal Services. Let me know, man. I'll submit you
Yeah,
internally.
okay,
Just hit
that's
me
cool.
up.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
Because they have a huge federal, I mean, just huge. It's like a whole nother part of Essential.
That's
So,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that. I keep saying because like I said, I gotta figure out. Oh, Tyrese, you gonna be there soon, man. Check out drop your channel in there.
Oh, I can't because the struggle security doesn't have a wrench.
Oh, you don't have a wrench.
Well,
I give you.
not the struggle security one, but
I'm
Game
gonna
Bay
give
does.
you a wrench. I'm gonna
Nice.
give you a wrench. Let me find it.
Here, let me say something in the chat.
Yeah, do a sort of pop up, and I get struggle. So you drop you in there. Yeah,
For
man, we
sure.
want everybody to come in the game and learn. We're
Absolutely, man.
doing some different stuff. Give you a wrench, man. Add a moderator. You should be wrenched up. So yeah, drop that
Okay,
in there.
dope. Go ahead and drop it. I actually just did a video last week. I've been moving, so I haven't been
Yeah,
able
I
to
was gonna
drop nothing
say.
this week. So
Yeah, I
it's been
saw you
crazy.
last week. I thought you was gonna say something this week. I was like, I saw you last week. But I've been in my client for 10 years, so I get free reign. I be dropping a video like every day.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So you be at client side. I'm at one client, so I'm cool. They really want me to stay. They just can't afford me, man, because
Yeah.
it's a state agency. I
But
be making
nobody's
much.
really been traveling. Nobody really been traveling. I haven't traveled once since I've been here for almost 7 months.
Facts.
I haven't traveled once because everybody wants remote services now. So it's interesting, man.
Yeah, I'm
Very
actually
different.
I'm gonna talk about. I'm actually getting Booz Allen's auditing us right now, and I've never
Okay.
done a remote audit over remote, so it's a little different. I'm used to them being on site, so they
Hmm.
made it a little longer, so they digging a little deeper. I like when y'all had 3 days to get in and out,
Right.
so now they
I
doing it
imagine
over
it'll
like
probably
two
be
weeks. So
it'll
yeah,
probably like an interview thing, like interview
yeah,
kind of setup.
yeah, it's
Okay.
both. Like they interview us technically, because
Yeah.
theoretically we got policies and procedures. So they quiz you
Right.
to make what's your procedure. You this developer.
Yeah.
I know it from security because I wrote it, but it's the developer doing it, right?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
interview that.
Everybody got to be right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then they scanned all our stuff, for compliance. So they're
Hmm.
getting all those numbers back to see how, how bad we are. I think we
Okay.
did pretty good. But so I'm gonna talk
So.
about it because I think we're gonna have like 4,000 findings, which sounds like a lot, but yeah.
Mm.
So
We
then
can
we
get
got
to
to
the
start with
remediations,
remediation,
mitigations, and remediations.
facts. So all of that. I'm a student at Cal Poly. I'm currently looking to get my second internship this summer. That's cool,
Oh,
man.
dope.
Yeah, if you need anything from me or Gabe, just reach out. I don't know what particular part of cybersecurity you're studying. I'm assuming cybersecurity or
Hmm.
tech. Like I said, I was a programmer for 15 years. I've done everything in technology, really, except being a system admin. That's probably everything. That's probably the only thing I haven't done. What's up?
Absolutely.
Let me read these out the cool paragraphs. It's an extraordinary player in cybersecurity. It's going to enable us to provide this end-to-end solution in this very important area. And again, it goes to our commitment around cybersecurity, but it's also where we're doing in the cloud, the investment and the focus. It starts, and let's make sure we have depth and breadth within the industry vertical so that we can address the idiosyncrasies needed in each industry, whether it's finance versus retail versus healthcare. She added that the investment like Mandiant is necessary to compete with the largest player, market leader Amazon, and number two Azure. Microsoft reportedly bowed out of its own talk to acquire Mandiant. I guess I just never think
Mm.
about y'all buying and being in verticals like that. I guess, man.
I don't know. I don't see that. At
Me
least I don't
neither.
know.
So
I don't know, man.
So it sounds cool for the press release.
Yeah.
Information security or cloud. That's cool. Is that a question? I would do both if that's a question. I did all of my stuff, information security on the on prem because I'm old, and I'm just moving all that to the cloud. And 90% of that's going to translate.
Yeah.
Networking is just virtual networking, right? When you
Hmm.
do Linux, it's just Linux. You can do it as a service, or you can spin up your own. But the checks and the compliance part's going to be the same. Um, so I found, so I found going for CNA and CNP is better out to get facts because for me networking is the basics for security. First thing I want to do control when I step on a client is your networking, your protocols, your ports, your packets. Are you open to the internet? Are you doing 3 tier, 4 tier? So I think you got to have some networking based true to light. What's your take on that, man?
Yeah. I think that's like that networking piece is very important. So I would say this because I did get my CCNA, and but I know that the Network Plus is also another networking certification
That's fine.
that's quicker. So the Network Plus is a quicker cert to get, but the CCNA is a more respected cert, I would say.
That's
So
all
it just
Cisco, right?
depends. Yeah, so it's all
That's
Cisco, but it's very deep dive into networking
fine.
protocols,
That's
networking concepts. So when I jumped into security, or when I got more into security, that CCNA really paid off. Like I really had a very strong understanding of networking. I didn't take the Network Plus, but I hear good things about that one too. So I would recommend the CCNA. It's different now because it has cloud in the certification now too. So it's a whole rebranding of the certification. So
all right, because like you said, everybody's in the cloud. I did one because AWS has something they call Cloud WAN, and you can actually bind it with Cisco. So now you can do this global networking using AWS's backbone. I was like, okay, that's a different level. I was like, so I did a little video on that trying to understand it. I'm like, ooh, I got to get better at my networking.
Right.
I did a cloud security internship. Oh, Agilent is big in Silicon
Valley.
Dope. That's congratulations on that.
You should be out of college. He should be perfect coming out of college today. Yep.
What do you guys think about? That's a perfect route. Networking, Jillian. Because two is a lot of times is, and I know we talk about it is, and I'll get Gabe's point in this. I think you need a little seasoning before you jump into security. Everybody on my security team is old as hell, so we don't. Maybe if you're in a SOC where you're looking at logs, you can get some younger people. Everybody on my team is hell. I'm 50. The youngest person on our team, we just got him, is probably 32. we call him the baby. Everybody else is over 45. I don't think you need to be that old, but I think you need a little seasoning under your belt.
Yeah, I would say that with that route, with that CCNA route, I would say probably throw like the Security Plus in there too. So you have a solid foundation of networking with the CCNA or the Network Plus, but also the Security Plus gives you that security flavor. So it's not only about that particular route and your knowledge base, but it's also about what looks attractive to the employers. So that CCNA, that Network Plus, that Security Plus look really good, and it hits on a lot of those those HR check boxes that you can get past. So I would recommend that.
And two, Tyrese, I don't know if you know Network Bruh, Network BRUH. He laughs pretty much every day, and Gabe like this. I come in there and I give him the STIG of the day for his Cisco router. He was doing EIGRP today, so I found him a STIG check.
Absolutely.
It's funny. He be asking for the STIG of the day. He said, Professor Black, I give me the STIG of the day. So it's cool. So go check out Network Bruh. Like I said, he's labbing. He's studying for the next level of Cisco cert. I can't even remember which one. He didn't pass, but he said he missed by a little bit. He's gearing up. So I did my CISP the first time. I didn't pass either. So yeah, check out Network Bruh, BRUH. Like I said, he did a live lab today, and I think he labs Monday through Thursday when he's not studying for a test. Cool young guy. Like I said, he does those Boson, all that stuff is virtual routers and stuff.
Yeah,
so I'm usually
in there. Boson too. Yep.
So yeah, I'm in there learning, like Gabe say, trying to make sure my security's tight. So I'll be in there learning. Let's see. Yep, I'm doing a CNA Security Plus 8. Yeah, that's a good mix right there.
Yeah, so that CCNA Security, I think it's been retired. So now it's just a CCNA, but then you go to a CCNP and then a CCNP Security. From what I understand.
I think Network Bruh is doing a CCNP. I think I need a. So now that's a good path.
Because I think that you can now even skip. I think you can actually skip the CCNA completely. Or I'm sorry, you can skip the CCNP and go straight for a CCIE. It's a whole different thing now.
Yeah, that whole network is a different game. Learn basic Python. That's a good mix right there. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Python is great, and scripting is always good because you gotta automate everything. I usually do, because I'm old. I usually do core and shell, and I usually do Python. I'm trying to figure out. I'm working on AWS Cloud Formation, which is so that's kind of what I'm working on for doing scripting in the cloud. So cool.
Yeah, man, I need to start going live, man. Like you were just answering questions.
Oh yeah, because
questions,
that's to me that's the only way you gonna get your 4,000 watch hours.
Watch hours.
You can't do it by a little video, man. Because
let me see how many I got. I probably got like 100.
Yeah, them others are hard to get. And two is like this one, especially when you come on, I come on yours. If we go for 2 hours, we got 10 people. I'll get 50 hours in 2 days.
Really?
Live. I get 30, then I get 20 on a replay.
Okay. I need to get that
so
together.
You can easily get 50, yeah. So without it, because I usually get about 600 a month.
Okay.
That's 600. I try to go live twice. I try to go 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah. Okay.
So like I said, I've been doing a intro to forensics class that I teach at a local university. So I kind of morphed it into something.
I saw some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just real basic. So I did. I got 60 hours on that Sunday in 2 days. So yeah, you got to go live, man.
Yeah.
But once again, keep throwing questions in the chat. Yeah, I'm actually studying for the cloud practitioner. The reason I started at the cloud practitioner, I hadn't took a certain 10 years. I'm like, I got to start off easy.
Yeah.
Old guy can't memorize like he used to. I'm struggling on memorization. I got to work on those muscles again.
I feel you.
So let me read a couple more. In the fourth quarter of 2020, Google reported year-over-year revenue of 45% to $5.4 billion. And its operating loss came in at $890 million, narrower than the $1.4 billion. However, the losses spending from the third quarter is $644 million. Why they losing money? I guess they invested. So I don't know. They might be bad. So one of the biggest thing cloud customers for both public and private sector ask for is artificial intelligence and the ability to automate data. For security, includes quicker, more sophisticated threat detections. Google Cloud CEO, like you said,
maybe they're just taking the threat feeds and they're incorporated into what they currently have for Google's platform. Maybe that's what it is.
Because Google's got that one thing where they do for the virus is 0 day. They got that 0 day team, I think, like you said. I think they got a division that works on that. But I just never think of that as artificial intelligence.
Well, so I guess it can be incorporated because it's probably just the data feeds. So one thing that just like I mentioned before, the threat intelligence and the incident response from Mandiant is like top notch, world renowned, because it comes from when people call Mandiant to respond to incidents. That information is like front of the line data about what the bad guys are doing. That feeds directly into the threat intelligence. So I guess because it's such real world threat intelligence and such quality, they'll probably use that as like a data feed into whatever automation and cloud offering that they have. Maybe they're just looking at, like bolstering their threat intelligence cloud offering. I'm still trying to see it, but I can see what they're valuable for. I can see what Mandiant is valuable for and what they could possibly use it for. So yeah.
So, Godson, what we're talking about is cloud versus security. It's not cloud versus security. It's cloud security together. How do you secure the cloud? How do you make that? Because I believe in the next 10 years, the majority of businesses is at least going to have some part of their business in the cloud because it's cheaper and on demand. So it's not cloud versus security. It's like we need to secure the cloud so we can run businesses in there and make sure we don't get hacked, make sure we got threat intelligence, make sure we got compliance and all that in there. So it's not one. We're trying to meld those two together, and we believe that's the next bag to get because cloud security is a little different than on-prem security. All facts. A couple of my friends just got hired at AWS, and I used to work with at DoD. So
AWS is hiring. They bringing people in.
Facts.
Like Dewan Lightfoot just went over there to
I think I saw that too in this
video. Yep, he just went over there recently.
Yeah, like you said, they be hiring everybody. So Let me read these last two. Security operations tool within Google Cloud Chronicles simplify solutions, and Mandiant's automated defense help customers analyze, prioritize, and streamline threat response and leverages Mandiant's expertise as a virtual extension of their teams. Mandiant customers include leading U.S. government agencies. The company said in its most recent annual report. In 2020, for example, FireEye, Mandiant's name before rebranding, said it was working with the Federal Bureau of Investigations on cyber attacks, aka the FBI. So
yeah, that was true. Well,
I wonder what would replace the cloud. I don't think anything's going to replace the cloud, Nectropolis. I just think the cloud's going to get better. They're actually, if you look at Amazon and Azure, they're building special chips or getting special chips created for the cloud for certain workloads. Like if you got a warehouse, it's going to be more memory intensive. If you're doing artificial intelligence, they got a CPU for computation intensive. Like I do a lot of encryption, so they got chips especially for encryption because you don't want your regular chips doing encryption. You want it to be doing your business. Then you got a chip just for encryption. So peer-to-peer, I don't think you want to do peer-to-peer because when you do peer-to-peer, I think people want it in the cloud housed in one central location, right? But they got data centers all over the world. I got to think about peer-to-peer. When I think of peer-to-peer, I think Napster. Chime in on that game.
Yeah.
No, I think of Napster. That's not secure. Go ahead.
I'm thinking that the cloud is going to become much larger and much more integrated. Nice. So like I think that these GCPs, AWS, Azure, I think it's all going to become like one big old cloud because the applications and the use cases are going to just grow more and more, right? As vehicles become more and more automated, that's one use case, right? Is that you'll need to have cloud instances or vehicles to be able to communicate to each other over some type of cloud infrastructure because it'll be everywhere. Cars need to drive autonomously. It needs to get data. It needs to get information. So I think it's going to become larger and more robust.
Yeah, if you look at AWS, they got a thing called, oh my God, I need to remember the name of it. It's just for autonomous where they actually have data centers with all the big ISP for phones. So they actually have hardware spun up, and they got those little clacks that are like in people's neighborhoods that are super small. So they got hardware in there, so you can bounce right out there. So you can be super close to your customers, like you said, because you got to be milliseconds. So yeah, they got that already, and they got a cloud front where they got data centers that are smaller in your big areas like New York, and it'll cache your web pages up there or your web services. So they're going to hit that first, get a millisecond response while it calls back to the regions close to you. So they're spending stuff in mid-sized cities, not even major cities, so they can get under millisecond response for certain applications, certain phones. So it's going to be interesting when you pair that with 5G, with AWS and how Azure doing that. They call that the edge part. So it's going to be interesting how that's going to work.
But I think people need to be able to trust that data. They need to be able to trust these communication protocols and these communication methods in the form of security. So I think that like there's so many more projections for the profitability of security because I think it's going to have to have its hands in everything.
Oh, 100%. Because you watching Russia and Ukraine go at it, so you're going to start knocking it down. Metropolis, AWS and Azure, they actually have blockchain offerings set up, so you can actually run blockchain right inside of AWS.
So
they got a blockchain ledger for a database, and they got something a little raw. If you want to do your own cryptocurrency, you could probably create a smart contract on top of AWS if you wanted to. Metropolis, I used to be like that. A lot of people do not trust the cloud. Security sucks at major companies. The cloud, AWS especially, because I work with those guys on Azure, they got thousands of great security people. I work with a lot of big companies. Their security team sucks. So I think they're transferring some of that risk and some of that expertise to the cloud. And I probably just switched over the last 5 years in Metropolis. And I was telling my boss, I was like, dude, we need to get to cloud because our private cloud vendor for the state sucks. Go ahead, man.
Oh no, I don't got nothing on that. Yeah.
Okay, I know if you don't have to be. So yeah, so now on the travelers, I was this way. I just think, and they give you security on top of it, like you said. Hell, Microsoft making $15 billion on security. Their security teams are just so much better in Metropolis, and you see on here they're hiring everybody up. When they buy $5.4 billion, ain't no money to get some more security people. So I think they're just repping those services and divisions up. I say store it on the box.
Yeah, what's the box? What's that?
I think you're talking about the Linux box locally at your centers. So two is you gotta pay for that box, and two is if the box is too big and you don't use it all, you wasting money. If it's too little, you're wasting money. So you get that elasticity in AWS. So when I get more things, I can just spin up another virtual machine. Once it gets to a certain amount, I'm only using 30% of that box, I can shut down that virtual machine and just use 2. So that elasticity. And Amazon's been doing it for 15 years now with big companies. So they got that down pat.
Yeah.
So no, that's it. Like I said, I was surprised when I saw Google at 5.4, so I just shot it to Gabe. I knew he was busy, so I just hit him on LinkedIn with the time and see if he could drop in.
Dope. Happy to be here, man. But yeah, I'm gonna hop down. I think I'm gonna have to pay more attention to this installation. I think
I'm about to shut down. I gotta go into the office because all my managements are 60, so they making me drive in the office tomorrow. Professor Black Ops is not happy, but you gotta go get the money. So
well, it was good chopping up with you, man. I'll come in for another one.
Let me know. We come on your channel so we can get your watch hours up. Let me know.
Absolutely. I definitely let you know when I'm going live for sure.
Yeah, do that. We'll chop it up. Cool, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Two, if you're doing networking, of course, Juan Lightfoot is, he's the godfather, but check out Network Bruh. Like I said, I'm always on this channel. He goes on at least 4 times a week. So I'm always giving him security checks, and he's studying for the checks if you're doing networking. Of course, check out Struggle Security. Gabe put his stuff in there. Women in Linux. Check out Textual Chatter and Black Heights if you're they help you on career development and resumes. I probably go see both of those. I'm not good at resume. I just think I'm old. People know me. The bag, facts. So we getting it. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. If you need anything to reach out, I got to do a better job of checking my email, professionalblackops@gmail.com. Give me about 2-3 days to get back with you. I'll be struggling sometime. That's all I got, man. I'm glad everybody came out, and we're going to hook up. We're going to lab a little more. Some of those labs are going to be doing networking and hardening them and locking them down to do federal computer security. We're going to do some of that networking in the cloud. VPC is just a virtual private cloud, which is just networking in cloud. Set up your CIDRs, set up your 3-tier, set up your zero trust so you won't have east and west attacks. So we're going to start labbing some of that. So I want everybody to have a good night. Thanks for joining me. Like I said, reach out if you need anything. I got to do a better job of checking my email, man. I'm out. Good night, y'all. I got to get up and go to work. Drive in tomorrow. I'm not happy. Everybody have a good night. I'm sure I'm going to see everybody on these YouTube streets.